Hey everybody, welcome to I'm Not Crying, You're Crying, the show about anything and everything because it's our show. I'm here with Juan.
Hey.
And Jay.
Hi guys.
And I'm Sean, and this is our theme music. Hey everybody, welcome back to I'm Not Crying, You're Crying. We've made it to episode 3 in season 2, as Juan likes to point out.
Season 2.
So nothing scandalous has happened yet, but I think some ongoing underlying plots have happened.
I don't know. I haven't had my period yet.
One day you'll become a woman.
That's true. And I don't think you're old enough yet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
never
Jesus
mind.
will bless you with a period this year.
Maybe. Every time Juan has a period, an angel gets its wings. Is that how that works?
Sure.
And an angel gets pregnant.
Oh, man. And then, Jade, I guess the real question is, Juan, if you're not pregnant or you haven't had your period, are you just pregnant?
Well, that would be the plot twist for season 2 if I'm pregnant.
Okay, well, I guess what? So we just do I check in at the end of the episode, or do I just ask Nesca?
I don't know. I don't know how pregnancy works, so I may give birth by the end of the episode.
Wait, whoa.
Sean Dare Cantley, you are not the father.
Murray, is that you?
Thank God.
Murray.
Thank God. That kid had my hat, but I knew he wasn't mine. I knew it. But I'm a little concerned because you have 3 kids and you don't know how pregnancy works. So.
Amen. It's been years since I saw Junior.
Okay, all right. That is a documentary, Junior. It's a documentary, and it's about the future of science. So, what more of an apt way to talk about our first topic of the day? So, I sent you guys an article. About the Apple Car. You guys see it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
So, when I was in eighth grade, the teacher had a prompt on the board. That prompt was, draw me a picture of 2020. Now, I realized that I only thought about this because I brought this article up, but I drew a future of flying cars.
That teacher was very specific, 2020. I had a similar assignment, and my teacher said, draw the future.
Well, here's the thing.
What, like 3 days from now?
Yeah. Well,
I'm dead.
You have to keep in mind that when I was in 8th grade, I want to say that's like 1998, and 2020 was. At that point, we're basically all robots in their mind. Yeah. So the picture I drew was of a flying car, and I found myself to be very disappointed because I didn't get a flying car.
Not even a flying hoverboard yet.
No, but it doesn't work over water, so it's still kind of shitty. So we still got some work to do.
Hoverboards need power.
But when I read this article, or when I saw the article about the Apple Car, I just go, I think it's finally happening. Now,
well, the Apple Car is slated to be a self-driving car, which I think some people know how I feel about that. To me, I thought that the Tesla already is a self-driving car.
Now, we talked a little bit about this off air, and the Tesla is not claiming to be a self-driving car. It is claiming to be a car with automatic capabilities that are assisted by the user. So, they sell a car with autopilot, but the autopilot basically is, lane assist. But, Tesla owners have taken it even further. So, Tesla, as a company, say, hey, we don't have self-driving cars. Although they are testing it. In their Hyperloop, I think in Torrance.
Interesting.
I'm a little disappointed that Apple paired with Hyundai for this car.
It's is
Hyundai not considered a good?
Well, they're they're trying to rebrand themselves. They're trying to, because they're known as the cheap car, the car you go to when you can't get the Honda or you can't get the you know what I mean. They're not that brand.
Do you think Apple paired themselves with Hyundai because they want to make their cars affordable to people? Or
have you ever bought an Apple product?
Their phones aren't affordable to people.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to break from that routine with the car market.
No, I would say if Apple paired with someone like Hyundai, I would say it's probably because they have a proprietary technology that Apple can capitalize on that's going to help them, do something that differentiates their product.
But other other companies are working on self-driving vehicles as well.
Yeah.
Because VW is releasing their electric vehicle. Then they're releasing the retro van that's fully electric, but in 2025 they're hoping to have that same model with the self-driving capability.
Yeah, I think in the self-driving space, I think Tesla is the leader, but they don't want to take that crown because like anything that happens, like I'm not sure if you guys keep up with the Tesla articles, but like 7 months ago, the big key feature was that they now had their summon feature finally worked. So if you had a Tesla,
is that where you just call your car and your car drives to your location?
Yeah. So it uses all those fancy sensors to avoid cats and people and all that stuff, but it didn't work very well. Like it basically depended on you having a clear parking lot and a clear like line of sight to you for the car to get to you.
Were there some cat casualties?
No, you know what? There weren't any in that because like any owner of a Tesla or any car that's going to come to you, they're all skeptical. So they try it like a few feet away. However, when it comes to self-driving, because people haven't been paying attention, like they play board games, they go to sleep.
Yes, but they're doing stupid things that even Tesla has said, don't fucking do it.
Yes.
Sit behind the wheel, your hands on the wheel, in case it decides to go Cyberdyne on you, you take control.
Yes.
But that's not realistic. That's not realistic on how most people drive,
Yeah.
Like if you're going to make a product, you have to make a product for everyone.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like even there's women right now driving right now.
What is I fail to see what's not realistic about having your hands on the wheel.
Because here's my point. There are women driving right now putting on eyeliner and mascara who aren't looking at the road at all.
I get that, but Tesla's saying stick to the rules of the road. It's not saying, hey, sit in the passenger seat, take a nap, play chess, have White Claws.
No, but the possibility is there. And if their sensors were good enough, as they claim them to be, then this kind of stuff wouldn't happen. Like one guy was decapitated because it didn't recognize.
What was he doing?
Well, first of all, he wasn't paying attention to the road. However, his Tesla sensors didn't recognize the gap between like a big rig trailer and the floor, so it just went right under it.
So here's the thing, and I don't know why I get so defensive with Tesla.
Well, obviously you're going to buy a Tesla.
Eventually, I would like a self-driving vehicle. So if it happens to be
so you can fall asleep,
the
so you
Hyundai,
can take a nap?
No, I wouldn't trust it completely. But if it happens
but what
to
if
be
you
the
take
Hyundai
an accidental nap
with Apple, or if it happens to be the Volkswagen, because I am a VW guy, I would still not trust it 100%. So the thing is, Tesla has given you the tools and telling you, hey, don't trust it 100% because we're still working out the bugs. We're the best. We're the leading in the industry, but it's not perfect. Anybody that's gotten hurt right now has been because they're not paying attention or they're dicking off. How many TikToks, memes have you seen of people playing around? In fact, TMZ had an article maybe a couple months ago of a guy got busted for letting his Tesla drive him home while he was drinking White Claws.
So, I have two things. What does dicking off mean? And the other, the other thing is, the other thing is that I think that's just it. I think we're at the precipice right now, right, of a fully like automatic driving experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all have lived in LA a good majority of our life and have driven in LA traffic, and most of that traffic is just from people who sometimes, can't drive.
Yeah.
In a world where my car will take me where I need to go and I don't need to worry about it, I think that's the best. I think earlier, off air you mentioned that there was a state with an actual full automatic like Uber like system, and the truth of the matter is that like I think that's kind of where it needs to go. Like you let personally, if you let the machines kind of do the work, they'll be better at using their sensors to calibrate the distance from all the other cars, and Tesla's working on Starlink, which is another like crazy
SpaceX
speed internet.
is working on Starlink.
Tesla, SpaceX. It's basically they're essentially owned by the same guy.
So,
I'd trust I'd trust a self-driving car if it was like the Johnny Cab from Total Recall.
Oh,
where it's like the robot in the front. Welcome to Johnny Cab.
Now, my memory is not very good, but maybe Juan or Jay, maybe you guys know. But could Kit drive himself?
yes.
Could he?
Yes.
I think I want Mr. Feeney voice in my car. If I ever get a Tesla and I can change the voice, I want Mr. Feeney in my car.
So, off air, one of the things that bothered me about the article was it's advertising the Hyundai Apple car as the first self-driving vehicle. And I told you, I think Vegas has a self-driving bus.
Yeah.
And I just found it, and it says, since its launch in November 2017, the shuttle has given 10,000 riders a free lift around a little of 0.6 mile stretch of downtown Las Vegas. The program was co-created by AAA and a French transportation company called Keolis, with the actual shuttle be built by a self-driving car startup called Navia Arma.
How many accidents is that in the article?
I could look at.
I'm just curious. Because go ahead, Jay.
Well, I feel like that example is so controlled, as far as like when they actually release the product to the general public, I think it's not going to be as controlled as that, where people are going to have accidents and then you're going to run into like legal issues. Like who do you blame for an accident?
Jay, so I saw a video about the summoning Tesla. Now that summoning Tesla ran a stop sign. And so the police pulled it over, but the driver wasn't in there. So who did
they pulled it over? Did the Tesla actually stop?
Well, the driver was nearby.
Oh, I was about to say, is the system so fucking smart that if it sees the lights, it
wasn't smart enough to stop that big rig. So no, it wasn't. But I just made my point is that like this guy, it's on YouTube, so obviously there's probably a little bit of like, hey, I'm gonna be buddy cop here, but he goes, who do I give this ticket to? Because he wasn't actually in the car when it happened, and the car didn't stop at the stop sign. And it wasn't at a major intersection. No one's life was in danger. It was like in a mall parking lot. So it could have been staged for all I know. But I mean, that poses a good question. I'm like, who's in trouble?
Well, obviously, I think this one's a bus company. So I would guess the bus company is liable. But for Teslas, I would think the Tesla company should be liable if they're saying, hey, the summoning service is up and running, go ahead and use it.
Yeah, but
then
so the ticket would go to the Tesla company.
I would say they should in other words, yeah, I guess so.
I don't know, man. I hit the button. I don't know. I feel like, sure, if Tesla wants to take the blame for it, sure, but I mean, if I hit the button and I kill 15 cats because my self-driving car, which can't recognize objects, kills people, that's on me.
This is where we have people that are smarter than us, or say that they're smarter than us, that are judges, and let them decide in a court of law. Because it is a very much of who's to blame. Sean pressed the button and killed 20 putty cats.
You're running into a situation where they're going to have to start writing new laws for this. It's just one of those things where it's so undefined and there's so much gray area that they're just going to have to start writing new vehicular laws for this kind of situation.
That's true. That's true, and I think we're in the middle of Moore's law, where like 10 years from now, like these cars, that won't even be a problem. Like recognizing the stop signs and stuff, that's going to be the easy part. Yeah. It's going to be like, hey, this car 4 cars ahead is having problems, so we're going to avoid it, and someone's going to get lost in the middle of the desert.
But I think Jay hit the nail on the head. If this is the future, then yes, there will have to be a new set of laws and rules. And I think everything's going to be slowly defined as more and more vehicles like this get released.
So, I agree. Yeah. But hey, we're in the future, man. We're in the future. In the future where sometimes people make the same movie and it gets released and people get confused. So like, have you guys seen Armageddon? or Deep Impact?
No,
I've
I
seen
have
both
not.
of those movies, and I don't remember either of them.
Really?
But I believe both of
one had Bruce Willis, and the other one had Tia Leone.
Wait, she wasn't in the same one?
And Morgan Freeman, right?
Wait,
No, one of
Morgan-
them had Bruce Willis and the other one had Ben Affleck.
well, you don't get a say because you didn't watch it. You didn't watch
no,
either one of them.
I just remember that both of them dealt with meteors crashing into Earth.
Yes, they did.
I know that Armageddon had that infamous scene with the astronauts in the orange jumpsuit walking.
So Deep Impact was Morgan Freeman as the president,
Yes.
and I think Tia Leone.
Yeah, she was a character.
And Armageddon was Ben Affleck, Crazy Eyes, Steve Buscemi, Michael Clark Duncan, and Bruce Willis, who basically are.
Oh shit! I thought Ben Affleck was in the other one.
Yeah, so Hollywood is known for making these types of movies. I sent you guys an article about it. Did you guys find any interesting ones?
Well, I only remember seeing two of them and going, "This one's better," but No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits. I remember seeing the.
Wait, whoa! So you've seen Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached, but you haven't seen like Armageddon?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, all right, okay.
And then I think the other one was like Olympus Has Fallen and
yes, and White House Down, or
The White House Down. That's the one with Channing Tatum, right?
No, Olympus. Yes.
I liked White House Down with Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx as the president, right?
Right.
Yes,
yeah.
I like that one.
It's funny. So when I was going through the article, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's right. I was like, this is fresh in my mind because they had just referenced Gerard Butler because they're making memes about the storm on the Capitol.
But the funny thing is, both movies deal with the White House falling, and both movies have black presidents.
Well, hey, man. They
didn't just copy the concept, but they copied the casting.
Yeah.
I mean, when did that movie come out?
2013.
During Obama's presidency, right? Yeah. So why wouldn't they have a black president?
Yeah.
So it's
well, you had Jamie Foxx, who ended up being like a kick-ass president in the White House Has Fallen, or whatever it's called, and then in the other one it was Morgan Freeman, right?
You're asking the wrong guy, man.
Yeah, I think it was Morgan Freeman.
Well, you have to remember, like, this is like when Jamie Foxx is still kind of building his like action movie resume, because I think not long after that he did that movie Collateral, which is him and Tom Cruise, and like that was like a huge deal because Jamie Foxx was like a dramatic actor. He never does any action stuff. So
not true, because remember he did Miami Vice, and that was action, but it was horrible.
You're talking about Channing Tatum.
Huh?
I said Jamie Foxx. Is that Channing Tatum? Was he?
No, you said Jamie Foxx. In Miami
Jamie
Vice,
Foxx and
it
Colin
was yeah.
It's
I haven't seen Miami Vice. There it is.
Did I say Channing Tatum?
No.
I'm confused now.
No. I did. I was confused. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I thought you meant 21 Jump Street. I got confused. Whatever.
No. Okay.
Are they the same movie? Is that why I got confused?
But there were other movies on that list that I don't remember seeing.
well, I saw Paul Blart and Observe and Report.
Oh yes. Which one did you like better?
I didn't care for either of them, but I think I liked Observe and Report a little better, only because it got really dark. Like he came off as a psychopath in some scenes where he's like, whoa, like you shouldn't trust him with any type of weapon or anything like that, or
Seth Rogen, right?
Yeah, Seth Rogen. But Paul Blart was a lot more fun, so I don't know.
Well, America probably thought Paul Blart was so good because they made a sequel to it, so they must have loved it.
Well, I mean,
the Observe and Report, didn't Seth Rogen write it with his writing partner?
yeah.
I don't remember a lot about Observe and Report.
They had the creepy twins.
They did. Yeah, they did. In fact, in the picture here, they're sitting in the thing with him. I just remember, I feel like he plays a lot of those like crazy like stoner characters, and in these movies, like he tends to get a little more serious, and you don't expect it.
You know, speaking of movies I didn't expect, and it's a little bit of sidetrack, but Seth Rogen, I did like him as a Green Hornet.
I didn't care for that.
You didn't?
No.
The best part of that movie is when he made the cappuccino.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
It was overly complicated. The movie looked good though. The movie looked good, but it was
I thought
just
it was good.
It was out there.
It was a shiny piece of shit.
I can't believe that you've seen Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached, but you haven't seen Armageddon.
Yes.
I've seen both of
And
those
for some
movies
odd reason-
too, Sean.
But yeah, but
And
you've
for-
seen Armageddon, and I feel like
For some odd reason, I remember the movie Chasing Liberty, but I never saw it. And then what was the other one that is like Chasing Liberty? The First Daughter or whatever?
The Vagina Monologues.
close.
What was it?
I'm looking for the name right now, but
I think it was The First Daughter and then Chasing Liberty.
I think you're correct. But I haven't seen either of those movies. What I have seen is Girls Trip.
Didn't see that one.
It's okay. It has Tiffany Haddish.
But you make fun of the fact that I saw Friends with Benefits. and
Yeah,
No
but
Strings Attached.
I watched this movie with my wife. That's the only reason I would have seen it. Otherwise, this would have never crossed my eyes at all. There's Tiffany Haddish, Queen Latifah.
You're such a bro, dude.
I know, right? Yeah, straight up. Hey, we're gonna do a cake stand after this.
No chicks flicks for Sean.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I'm not against them. I don't get it. I don't understand them. They seem a little.
Well, it's a movie about feelings, Sean.
Oh, see, that's
the problem.
I think that's
Sean's
the
a
problem.
robot.
That's the problem right there. I don't have the emotions. That's it.
Look, those movies are all the same. You know, it's just like, they spend time together and then they fall in love. You know, and then there's this time where they're apart because they hate each other, but then they come back together at the end. It's all the same, but it's so watchable. It's like, I got to see what happens. You know what happens, you know?
Yeah, I think that's probably well. The other thing about it is that the circumstances around those movies are always so far fetched. It's like
yes, they're so ridiculous.
Yeah, in the movie The Other Missy, it's on Netflix. Anybody?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
What's it about?
It's David Spade, and he is trying.
Oh, the crazy girl that he falls in love with. Correct.
Yeah.
I did see it. Yes.
Yeah, and it's just like it's such a far fetched thing. He's like he goes on this like once in a lifetime thing. Mm-hmm. He meets and then like he texts the wrong person, and then like someone else shows up there. I'm like in real life. She goes, "Hey, she just goes, "Hey, are you buying my ticket?" He goes, "No." Oh, sorry, wrong person. And then like the movie's over. So I don't find the reality in there. However, you may then go, but you find the reality in something like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and I do.
I didn't think the Other Missy was that bad of a movie. It had its funny moments.
Well, you also saw No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits. So
I did.
And did you enjoy those movies as well?
I can't recall. I just remember one is Ashton Kutcher and the other one's Justin Timberlake, I think.
Yeah. I didn't care for either of those movies.
Which and then one of them has Mila Kunis in it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the one with Ashton or
no?
the
She's
one
with Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they had this like flash mob thing at the end of that movie.
So I find it funny that Mila Kunis, who ended up with Ashton Kutcher, was in the same movie, but in a different.
Oh well, I mean, hey, it's a small world. Did you guys going through this list? Did you guys find any other movies that just kind of crossed your mind that were like, oh, these are also similar?
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't seen these movies, but I've always heard that Yojimbo and Fistful of Dollars were kind of similar storylines,
Yes.
where it's just one's a samurai and the other was a cowboy. So
I've never heard of either one of those movies.
oh man, Yojimbo's Akira Kurosawa. He did a lot of samurai flicks, and they're awesome. And a lot of like Western filmmakers have just kind of remade them into westerns back in the day. Like Seven Samurai and The Magnificent Seven are basically the same movies. It's just the setting and costumes are different.
I still haven't seen The Magnificent Seven yet.
I like that one.
Was it good?
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix, isn't it?
It is. Well, there's the Adam Sandler version of that movie. I think on.
Oh no, don't watch that. one.
Yeah.
Skip
But
it.
I just not to be confused.
Yeah, but one of the
I don't think
movies
anybody's confusing The Ridiculous Six for The Magnificent Seven.
There it is. That's what it's called.
One of the movies that I thought of that wasn't on that list that actually got a lot of media because they're like, oh, they copied it. The Lion King and the Japanese version of the Lion King, Kimba, or
yeah.
But then, but
Kimba,
then
the Lost Lion, and the Lion King about a Simba, the Lost Lion.
then you could take it a little bit further, where people are like, the Lion King and the other movie essentially ripped off Shakespeare because it's Hamlet, yeah. Hamlet, but with lions.
Well, I mean, The Simpsons is a perfect example of like a show that has been on the air for so long that there's no way they can't repeat storylines. They just can't keep it fresh. They can just, they can do things a little differently. So I think, it's a form of flattery, right? Imitation's a form of flattery.
Well, I think The Simpsons and Family Guy did that crossover episode beautifully, where it ended with Fred Flintstone as the judge going, "Yo fuckers basically ripped me off. I was the original one." With I don't know. I thought that crossover episode was very well done. And
well, I mean, you mentioned Fred Flintstone, but I think Fred Flintstone, I could be wrong, he's supposed to be a cartoon version of Ralph Cramden.
Yes.
So I mean, if anyone should be upset and punching people to the moon, it should be Ralph Cramden.
Yeah, Jackie Gleason is turning over.
It's like Peter Griffin. This is what I've devolved into. So an honorable mention that it's movies that have you guys seen the movie Equilibrium? It came out around the same time as The Matrix, and like personal opinion, it is very Matrix like. Just that the medium isn't the internet; it is emotion.
Is there going to be an episode one day where you don't bring up The Matrix? That is the equivalent of me bringing up my time in Mexico that you guys make fun of me. So I'm going to start making fun out of the fact that you bring up The Matrix in every fucking episode.
Well, the difference between my story and your story is that mine has something to do with what we're talking about right now, and your story about Mexico usually is just about that time you were in Mexico doing something very random.
Scandalous.
You make me seem like I'm fucking Michelle from American Pie. Was that the character's name? Alice Hannigan's. This one time at band camp.
I don't remember her name, but yes, that one time in Mexico, I didn't want to shower. That one time in Mexico, I went on a tour and was fooled to believe this ship was haunted.
That was in Mexico. That was Long Beach.
Who knows? Who knows? But I was saying, so Equilibrium. It's about an emotionless society, and The Matrix about a society being ruled by machines who are also emotionless. But those movies, from time to time, often get compared as being very similar. They came out around the same time. And it's really just compared from a cinematic point of view because Christian Bale's wearing all black and everyone in The Matrix wearing all black. And I'm pretty sure there's some kinky stuff happening behind the scenes there because there's lots of whips and guns and shit.
Do you relate with Short Circuit and The Matrix and Equilibrium because they have no emotion and you're a human robot?
Probably. I mean, who knows? But
well, they're also good movies.
Johnny Five had more emotion than you did, to be honest.
Johnny Five, I'm alive.
Yeah, he was just happy to be alive. Like if anyone,
I'm a citizen.
If you got struck by lightning, wouldn't you be excited just to not be dead?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Like that actor that played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ.
Jim Caviezel?
Huh?
Jim Caviezel? Was he struck by lightning?
Yes, well, he was on the cross.
Well, hey, man. Don't stand close to that guy. Oh, man. Jay, did you? I think you brought up your movies. So you guys talked about some movies that kind of seem similar, but so now talking about more similar things about cartoon shows that they have that they've rebooted. So I sent you guys another list of articles about some cartoons that they had rebooted. Now going through this list, I only found a few that I wanted to talk about. Did you guys find anything interesting on this list?
I was surprised to see how many of them got rebooted, and I had no idea about it. However, I could say I actually saw one from that list from beginning to end because my son went through a Scooby-Doo stage and loved Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated on Netflix.
I've never really enjoyed Scooby-Doo personally.
Fuck you, man.
Really?
Yeah, I've never like. I mean, I if it comes on TV, I'll turn it. I won't turn it away, but I'm not gonna actively engage.
I fell in love with Scooby-Doo from the very beginning, continued my love with a pup named Scooby-Doo, and then now I'm glad that my son got into it, and my oldest daughter likes it as well.
You know what's funny? It's that when I was looking around at Scooby-Doo stuff, a pup named Scooby-Doo is like the Scooby-Doo that like no one talks about. Like,
I loved it though.
That is probably my favorite version of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially when Fred blamed Red Herring for everything.
It's the real kicker is that my daughter she loves this a pup named Scooby-Doo. So like whenever it's on, I zone out. I don't even know what's happening on the show half the time.
You know what really sells the show? It's that theme song. It's just it's just so catchy, and it's just like, you get into it. Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, you know what? I will admit that is a very catchy theme song, and it's good. It has a very poppy, like fun feel to it. It's good. It's good.
And then they had another Scooby-Doo on that list that I had no idea.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's ScoobyDoo Be Cool.
Yes.
And
yes.
Again, it's another version of Scooby-Doo that my daughter loves.
It's just that the art style is just so weird on it. I don't like it.
I did not care. I haven't seen a single episode of it, so I may see it and like it.
I hate it because I don't know what it is.
Well, no, from the pictures in the article, the animation style didn't jive with me, like J. Cole said. And to be honest, it kind of reminded me of the new animation style for Mickey that I really don't care for.
It's funny. I was going to bring that up because not only does my daughter love Scooby-Doo Be Cool, but she also loves like the new like Mickey Mouse like 5 or 7 minute shorts that they have on Disney Plus. She loves those damn things. Like, and the art style is like way out there. Goofy looks like he looks like God damn like
somebody threw him with their feet.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't look like a wholesome Goofy. Like he looks like he needs some help. Like he looks like a junkie.
So this is probably something I deal with because of my generation or my age gap or whatever. But I was of the traditional paper and ink fan cartoon guy. When they started making everything CGI, and the first CGI cartoon movie I saw was Toy Story, I didn't care for it. Now I watch them and they're like second nature to me. But now that everybody's like trying to morph into that animation style of Be Cool or the new Mickey Mouse, I don't care for it. So ask me in a year from now when that becomes the animation style, and I'll be like, it's okay.
Well, you know what? That animation style was kind of made popular by like shows like The Regular Show and Adventure Time, where it's not taken as seriously, and the plot lines of those shows kind of allow for that more whimsical art style. I hear you. It's like it's not conventional. And we'll talk. I'll have my Adventure Time on a different list, and we'll talk about. But so I get why the art style is popular because it's like another really popular show that wasn't on any of these lists. And we're talking about reboots right now. It's Gumball, The Amazing World of Gumball. So if you've never seen that,
I've never seen it.
You should. It's a good show. I think Jay had mentioned how like in the last episode how Soul has like life lessons in it that kids will like reflect on like later in life. Gumball, being this crazy whimsical show, has like life lessons like baked into the storyline. It's great. But to get off my tangent, Jay, did you find any good shows on this reboot list?
Well, I saw The Brave and the Bold. I love The Brave and the Bold.
That was actually very good. Batman the Brave and the Bold. It has Jethro.
Wasn't even Scooby in that picture?
Dietrich Bader plays Batman, and like it's such a good Batman show because the art style it takes it back to like old like comic booky style like drawings, and they used a lot of obscure villains and characters in the show. So if you were like a hardcore fan of like Batman comics, and then you saw like the Condiment King in an episode, and he's like a legit villain,
Yeah, you kind of get your shit tested in that show. There's an episode with Neil Patrick Harris where he is the music meister, the music master.
Yeah, the music maestro or something.
Yeah, but it's like an all musical episode, and I think like every episode is like 7-8 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like it's super consumable, and it's like it's very good. Juan, if you've never seen it, I mean, take some time with the kids and watch it.
I probably will, because I do like Batman, and then the picture in that article had Batman and Scooby-Doo on it. But yeah, I probably will watch it, to
good.
be honest.
It's good. Anything else, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, going back to like the animation styles, that's kind of one of the styles that's changed like to modern animation styles where I like it. The animation, like I like cell shaded and hand drawn animation. It looks gorgeous. Like all the Disney movies in the 90s, Renaissance movies, they're all hand drawn movies, and they look beautiful. And every time they kind of go back to hand-drawn animation, it looks gorgeous, but it's so expensive. It's so time-consuming, and it takes a lot of money to do that stuff. That's why the animation styles has changed. Like in the 80s, they recycled a lot of animation, so they didn't have to do a lot of drawings. So the animation style in the 80s is all recycled animation. It was all cheaply done, and it looked like... it looked like shit, and then there was this resurgence in like the early 90s where people started like going back to hand-drawn animation, doing this wild like Ren and Stimpy style SpongeBob SquarePants type of animation where everything was kind of like weird and everything was more boxy. And then from there it just kind of like went into like this the Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack, and from there it's just evolved into like to what it is right now,
So pardon my ignorance, but TV shows like Family Guy, Simpsons, Powerpuff Girls that you mentioned, are they truly hand-drawn still, or is there now a computer program that can spit out these images in a way that makes it look like it's hand-drawn cartoons?
I think it's half and half,
Yeah, I think like especially for shows like The Simpsons, where like where they would animate mouth motions, and now they can probably like fudge that a little bit with CGI. And even with Family Guy, I'm sure, because there has to be ways to find efficiencies, because like as any of the South Park writers will tell you, like there's no way to get South Park out and have it be topical if you're gonna like do stop motion with construction paper, right? So like they're able to stay topical and they're able to do their show in a concise manner with computers. So and the same thing with The Simpsons, right? I mean, like Simpsons can't stay topical while also like having a lead time of like 4 months. Another prime example of that is the Animaniacs. I think we talked about
the new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where like,
are they hand drawn or are they computer?
I think they're hand drawn, and the way I think that is because they literally go, well, hey, we're hedging our bets on a few of these things because we have to be animated. And they recorded their voices ahead of time. And I can't remember exactly, but it was a bunch of political stuff, commentary about today, which they freaking nailed, right? So it's like these writers wrote this like a year and a half ago. They recorded it 6 months later, and then the animation was out a year later.
Well, because of COVID, and the show was kind of delayed in coming out. Some of the jokes are a little dated because they were supposed to come out around the election time, and a lot of the episodes were based around the election happening, and then it just seemed a little bit like
the 2016 election.
No, this election.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, they were supposed to come out during this election.
Yeah.
But they came out earlier. I thought you said it was delayed. I'm confused.
It was delayed. It came out. It was supposed to come out, I think, in the it came out in November, right? Or December.
Yeah, and no, it came out before the elections. You know what? Let me look it up.
But I mean, but but some of the political jokes are a little dated. But I mean, like, but they're still funny because like some of them they're even though they're dated, they're still right. Like if you're on top of your political stuff. Have you seen the Animaniacs one?
No, I remember we discussed the fact that I don't have Hulu.
That's right.
I mean, that's how good the writing was. I mean, the show.
But yeah, I mean, yeah,
the show holds up, and it's probably going to hold up years from now. I mean, the references are going to be dated, but I mean, it's still going to be relevant.
Yeah, the funny thing about the references there is that yes, they'll be dated, but I think they'll still be viable community talk because of just how much incredible shit happened during 2020.
I will be a monkey's uncle, and I apologize. It actually did come out after the elections. It came out on November 20th, and the elections were what, November 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh man, yeah. Did you find it? You find any other cartoons on the list, Jay?
Well, I saw that they had that MTV SpiderMan, the CGI one that, you know what, I actually caught when it came out on MTV, and I liked it at the time, but going back and trying to rewatch it, the animation's dated and some of the storylines and stuff, it just falls flat compared to all the other Spider-Man stuff that has come out afterwards.
It's oh my god. So I remember when I was so excited when it came out because it was on MTV. It was CGI. It was Spider-Man. There wasn't a lot of Spider-Man out there. Like I think before this, there was Spider-Man the animated series, which was like the end all be all for Spider-Man.
Is MTV still a thing?
I don't have cable, bro. I don't know. Possibly. I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe
MTV started off as the music television channel, and they all show music videos, and then at some point it morphed to reality TV shows. And wasn't Robot Chicken on MTV at first?
No,
was it always on Cartoon Network?
Yeah, I think it's always been on Cartoon Network.
Oh. Hey, from that list, they had the Thundercats.
Yes.
Is that the third remake of the Thundercats?
No, it's the second.
They only made a second one?
So I think I know what you're referring to because there was an article about them doing another reboot of the Thundercats in the same style of animation as like Adventure Time.
But it didn't last that long.
I don't think it ever saw the light of day. I think like many other people of our generation who saw it was like, no, don't you dare do that to Thundercats. Now I personally haven't seen this Thundercats reboot, but it looked cool. Was it good?
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah. See, how's the animation? It's like anime style. So I mean, I feel like
I think it's from the people who did Avatar: The Last Airbender, and so it does have that anime feel to it, but the storyline is a lot. It's more cohesive than what I remember of the old Thundercats TV show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because like. Just like you said, the animation from back then, like they weren't afraid to reuse a cell. Like, if Lionel was doing something in one cell, but he had to do a quick action that looked similar, they would just show you Lionel like doing something else. Yeah,
Thundercat.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, so like as a kid though,
Thunder, show me into the future.
Yeah, it was it was great. It was great to watch. When you watch it again, you go, holy shit, this is not as good as I remember. But like it was a fun thing to watch.
I was surprised that they redid She-Ra. I had heard that they were doing She-Ra and it did well. I was surprised that they did He-Man. Never heard about it and it didn't do well. But I think that's like the third remake of He-Man because I remember seeing a remake of He-Man where Battle Cat didn't talk and it bugged the shit out of me.
I'm not even remotely versed in He-Man.
I used to have all the He-Man toys, and I used to watch He-Man a lot.
I actually watched a documentary on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and there was actually 3 versions of the show. There was the one in the 80s that they made just to sell the toys, and then there was one that came out in the 90s, and it was kind of like weird.
Mm-hmm. With Orko being like, he looked like he was on crack or something.
I don't know. It was kind of weird, and it looked more like Conan in like a sci-fi world. Mm-hmm. And then there was another one that kind of looked like the rebooted Thundercats one, where it was kind of more anime type. And I heard that one was really good, and I haven't watched it. So
I'd be willing to give it a try, but I'm just not well versed in that universe. It was like right outside of my era of like cartoons. But my wife watches She-Ra and I kind of,
she likes the new one.
Yeah, the new one. She watches the new one. She loves She-Ra to begin with. So like this new one was just like, oh, more She-Ra stuff. Okay. So But I mean, like from what I've observed, like from the sidelines, it seems like it just crosses. It kind of checks all the boxes of like staying modern and up to date and keeping the subject matter very topical. So there's lots of stuff that like that happens there. I just go, I don't know. Feel like this wouldn't have happened in the '80s, but it's made for a modern audience.
If you can find that He-Man documentary, you should really check it out, because honestly, when they were making the original He-Man show, it just seems like they were kind of like making stuff up as they were going. Like they're like, hey, we should do this, and then the funniest thing in the show, when they were talking, there was a guy, and he was one of the writers. Well, he was one of the toy makers, and he had an idea for the characters, and he was coming up with the characters, and he was like, oh, I want to do this water guy, and we're gonna call him Seaman, and then and then they brought in an actual writer, and then he goes, oh, we should change that Seaman character to Merman, and the guy goes, oh, it's genius.
I feel like sometimes a lot of things happen where they just put in the placeholder name and they just kind of get all the way to production, and they're just like, well, it's here now.
I like them.
Yeah, but He-Man was one of those things where it just they kind of made it up, and it turned out really awesome.
And they got really lucky. Yeah,
I remember having the sword. I remember having the Grayskull castle. You
had a lot of toys as a kid, man. You had all the best Nintendo gear, and you had He-Man stuff. Jesus Christ, man.
No, but speaking of reboots and shit like that, and it's somewhat on topic, but have you guys noticed that they're rebooting the same line of toys? Like, I went to Walmart and they had vintage looking Ghostbusters, He-Man toys.
Well, yes, because I own those toys. They were a Christmas gift.
That's to sell to you, not to kids.
Yes,
it's to sell to you.
It's to sell.
Yeah, I they had Battle Cat, man, and I was gonna buy it, and if it was felt like the one I grew up with, I would have bought it. The only thing that deterred me is I was in the toy aisle with my kids, and they were buying toys, and I'm like, well, I'm here for the kids, not me.
Well, yeah. So, and just like Jay said, like those toys, all of those, like those, old Ghostbusters, old He-Man, old She-Ra, all that stuff. That's for all those kids from the 70s and 80s who like couldn't afford it unless you were one.
Exactly.
Unless you were one.
No, I did not have that many toys.
Bro, on the last episode, you flexed every Nintendo toy ever, and you just
I didn't
flexed
say
how
I
many
owned it.
You just said
I owned the mouse, the bazooka, but
going.
I never owned the power glove. I never owned the power pad or Rob the robot.
Well, that's more things than I had.
Oh yeah.
But
and I think I may have owned a joystick on the Super.
This guy, look at this. See, he's still flexing. So
I had one controller on my NES.
Yeah, and like I have three brothers, and that one controller. I mean, if you didn't win, you give up the sticks, bro. That's just how it goes. Just real quick, I'll go over my list over the shitty reboots. Did you guys watch the Lunatics Unleashed reboot for Looney Tunes?
Looney Tunes, remastered and on steroids.
They're in the future. I think it's like 2038 or some way out there future, and they all have neon lights on them. It was a
very
thing.
Tron-like.
What was that?
Very Tron-like.
Yes, very, very Tron-like. I watched a few episodes of it as a kid. It was not very good, but when I saw it on the list, I was like, holy shit! I remember like watching this.
So I have questions because I never saw it. I think I saw it advertised, but were the futuristic characters named Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Cats?
Yeah.
They just
futuristic.
had.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because at the time, that's just where animation was going. So we got to make these guys more futuristic and badass, and it's like,
Well, I mean, it was the birth of like a lot of like superhero stuff. So they had a property, they wanted to add a superhero element to it, so they just combined it and hoped that it would take off.
It did not. It did not. Some other things on the list that caught my eye that I actually watched was The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Now. If you've never seen,
I didn't even care for the first one.
Yeah, this is like my dad loved this show, And so like he tried to get me to watch the old version. I couldn't do it. I was like, I just couldn't do it. And then I tried to watch the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, which like was a little more it was updated. And like the first episode I watched was like Haji, who was like Johnny Quest's guy. Yeah, this token Indian sidekick. He like fell asleep in the car holding his breath, and I was like, this is not action or suspense or adventure. this is dumb. So I never watched another episode afterwards.
And that reboot was years ago too, right?
Yeah.
Like the 90s or
yes. Yeah. And then the two of my favorite reboots to come off this list are X-Men Evolution, which I know everyone has mixed feelings about because everyone loves the 90s X-Men cartoons, but this was actually a good reboot. Like it had a very interesting storyline. It was endearing, and Professor X and Magneto had a very interesting relationship. It was good. So like if you guys get a chance to watch it, I would say watch it.
I don't recall watching it, but I do remember my love for the 90s X-Men.
Yeah, you and everybody else, man. Like, they
well,
can't
I
stop.
I liked it because it was a soap opera, you know.
It was. I can't remember who posted on Facebook that the guy who voiced Cyclops had passed away, and I realized that it's a sad thing. But my comment to this guy was like, no one's gonna ever be able to scream Jean like that guy could scream Jean.
You really felt it.
yeah. And the other, one of my other favorite things about the '90s X-Men cartoons was that Wolverine was just always making comments about his claws. He's like, hey, I need to go driving. You want to go driving with these? It's like it didn't matter. It didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter what it was. But the last thing was Beast Wars. Now, if you're a Transformers fan,
I like the original one.
Transformers is good, but Beast Wars, I don't know what it was about Beast Wars, but it was fucking great, man. It was like, the Predacons and the Optimus Primal. It was great. Like I loved. There's a point where they had I don't know, found some liquid metal on the planet they were on, and they became trans metals, which meant that Optimus Primal, who was like, their Optimus Prime, who was an ape.
And it was a gorilla, right?
He was a gorilla.
And then the Megatron was a T-Rex, right?
He was a T-Rex.
Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking awesome. But when they get that upgrade, he becomes like this crazy ass tank. Optimus Primal becomes this crazy ass tank, and like Megatron becomes like this crazy, like on steroids T-Rex. It's great. It's great. The CGI is very dated, so like Juan, you wouldn't like it, but the story is just great.
I remember watching the original Beast Wars and liking it. And then I feel like I tried watching the remake of it and didn't care for it.
They remade Beast Wars?
Did they?
Yes.
Beast Machines. Beast Machines, which I agree. But I also think that wasn't I was no longer in the demographic. So like I wanted to like it, but I was like, I don't understand what the fuck's happening. So I had to get out. Yeah. Speaking of things that we need to watch, that you have to watch. I sent you guys another article, the last one I promise. Another article about like some of some cartoons that you have to watch. Like they're just classics. Mm-hmm. So going through this list, did you guys find any? Oh yeah, that weren't on the list. I'm curious.
That were not on the list.
Yeah, that were not on the list.
I really enjoyed Ike the Cat back in the day. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just such a quirky cartoon where a lot of jokes. I think they only hit with certain people. So like, but it hit with me a lot. Like a lot of the jokes were just so good to me.
Yeah, since Juan is our bookkeeper here, I'm surprised he didn't bring up the fact that you've brought up Ike the Cat on more than one occasion. But no, yeah, Ike the Cat is great. I think one of the things I love from that whole animation block is the terrible thunder lizards.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was just curious if you guys found anything that wasn't on the list, because as I was going through the list, I was like, oh, this better be on there. This better be on there. And I found, I think, all the things that I wanted to talk about on this list. In fact, I was like, all right, I got to narrow it down to like top 10. And I found myself like kind of rank them and cross them off. So, Juan, did you find anything on this list, or you?
Well, I can't remember the entire list, but all the ones that I care about are on there. Freaking ScoobyDoo. Was Pinky and the Brain on there?
No, Pinky and the Brain was not on there.
They should add Pinky and the Brain.
Animaniacs was on there.
Yeah, but Animaniacs.
No, but remember, Pinky and the Brain wasn't just Animaniacs. They spun off and had Pinky and the Brain, and it wasn't a Pinky and the Brain and Elvira.
I don't remember that, but I think we talked about that like 2 episodes ago. An episode I don't remember.
I think we talked about Pinky and the Brain, and
we did. Well, because they had brought him back during the reboot of Animaniacs, and that's the only cartoon that had come back with him. So like the good feathers and all that stuff didn't come back.
DuckTales was on, which I'm glad. I couldn't get into the new DuckTales, and I know Jay, you love that one.
Well, I actually haven't watched the new. I've watched a few episodes of the new DuckTales, but I haven't watched all the episodes.
My wife enjoys the new DuckTales. She watches a lot of stuff. Me going through this list, I found a lot of shows that I'm like, yeah, you need to watch all this stuff, and I realized that like I just maybe I just like too many things. So like for example, I have Rugrats on the list.
Which one?
The original Rugrats, like
Okay.
not Rugrats grown up or Rugrats like go to whatever. I just mean like the original like run of like 7 babies just doing random shit every episode. Like they're it's mindless cartoons. I have Reboot. Do you guys remember the show Reboot?
Yeah, I didn't like
No,
it
but-
because
I love that show. I got the DVDs as gifts and I like rip them and burn them and I try to watch them. In fact, I may just go through the series now since I'm like looking for a new thing to watch. I still haven't finished Ozark. Don't be upset with me. I'm on season 1, episode 5.
On you, man.
But yeah, Superman the animated series.
I didn't like the animation to Reboot.
It was not so great CGI, but the premise I thought was super interesting. And then they go dark, like they have a time skip, and like the innocent character comes back as like a half unshaven rogue with one eye. It's crazy. It's so good. And he comes back with some random ass girl, like it's I don't know. It for me it's good. It was good. Superman the animated series.
I did like that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I realized that this is kind of a gimme on the list because I have Batman the animated series and also Justice League. Not Justice League Unlimited, though. If you like the Justice League, then sure. If you have some more time to kill, Justice League Unlimited. But anything by Bruce Timm, like in the mid '90s, basically you could have you have to watch that. That's.
Didn't Batman also appear in the Superman animated series in a couple episodes? Yeah,
he did, and they had a crossover movie, The World's Finest, which is a comic book.
I think the Batman animated series was my favorite one, especially because of Clayface. I love that.
Well, the Batman animated series was like probably the most mature of all the Bruce Timm series.
Oh yeah,
and Clayface is probably like it's one of those stories that like you're watching and go, he's not necessarily the bad guy here. He just had some fucked up shit happen to him.
Yeah, essentially he was the actor that wanted to stay young and pretty, right?
Yeah. But that's like some real shit. Like
Go ahead.
That's like some real shit, man. That's like that's as an actor sitting in front of his mirror right now, going, I'm aging out of this role. Like, what am I gonna do?
Well, that's on the Doom Patrol. What's her name? Rita?
Yeah.
Rita Farr.
Is on Doom Patrol.
Maybe you could educate me. How come they never had Clayface in any of the movies?
Well, because it's unrealistic.
The Joker is realistic?
Well, I mean, depending on how you portray the Joker, yeah.
The Scarecrow.
He's in the first Batman movie.
Yeah, no, but that's realistic.
Well, I mean, all right.
A chemical engineer putting fear gas inside to vaporize in your shower. Yeah, man.
Ra's al Ghul is realistic.
Ninja assassins that live in the mountain that teach you. Yeah, absolutely.
Live forever, immortal.
Yeah, the Lazarus Pit. I'm sorry, you can't suspend your disbelief.
Look, unless you're a hardcore Batman fan, you're not going to be on board with a Clayface story. Unless they pull it off right. And it's hard to pull it off because you have to do CGI or practical effects. And then people are going to have their gripes on how the characters portray it.
They're going to do that no matter what, man.
Yeah, but
when you have such a popular IP that people are loyal to, they do one step wrong and they're going to crucify you.
That's
Perfect
true.
example
Jared
was
Leto.
Gotham when they killed off the Joker, or should I say Jerome, because he's such an iconic character and they were such big fucking pussies to write about him, that they end up going, he wasn't the Joker. The Joker is the essence that lives in everybody. Everybody can be the Joker. And then they realized that they got so much backlash, and they brought back Jerome as the Joker.
Well, that's the thing, it's a hard sell for a Batman movie if the Joker's not in it, the Riddler's not in it, all the well-known rogues are not in it. If you try to sell a movie with like Clayface is like sea level. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would go even lower than that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But like a TV show Gotham, which I loved and ended, by the way, they never introduced Clayface, but they introduced the ventriloquist. They introduced
because
Croc, I think.
Because you have to keep in mind that like some of those like just like Jay said, he's like C-list, D-list. He's like he and
the ventriloquist was a
yeah, but he has an iconic like thing, right? Like
Scarface.
Yeah, he's exactly.
It's more grounded in reality.
Which is Batman's
okay, your
thing.
reality is completely different than my reality.
No, hold on. So like, you have, remember, the reason why the Joker works is because he's grounded in reality. He's just a crazy dude who likes to torment Batman. Yes. Right.
Well, it also depends what kind of Joker they play him.
Sure. But I mean, like, we're talking about Heath Ledger Joker. So and then
he was anarchist, psychopath.
And I mean, we didn't give Jared Leto a chance, but we're just talking about a crazy dude. You know what I mean? So a lot of those things are just grounded in reality, But Clayface, there's a lot more like spinning parts. It's like you got to get a guy like just think about it, right? The leap to get Harvey Dent to be Clayface is like someone threw acid in a courtroom on his face, and then he went insane.
Not in the Dark Knight movie, was it?
Well, no,
the explosion.
Yeah, but my point is that like
the original storyline was acid, right?
Yeah, but you have to make that leap. And you're willing to kind of do it to go, okay, well, I can see that. But like with Clayface, it's like you got to find toxic waste. You got to find like all these different pieces that you have to hope make sense. And the Batman the Animated Series is able to tie that together in a way that A, it's a children's cartoon, and B, it told a very heartfelt story. And like,
I think what people are trying to do is they're too chicken to try to tackle the CGI of Clayface.
I mean, it's hard to tie in Clayface and a Batman storyline in a whole like hour and a half movie,
Well, I'm not talking just the movies. There's been other shows of Batman.
But I think you love Clayface a lot more than the rest of the community.
Generations.
because it's just
I just thought he was a badass character that can morph his face and
yes, he's absolutely like a great foil for Batman in the comics, but he is not like he's not on the list of villains that people are going to go to the theater and see. He's just not.
I mean, honestly, it'd be great if they could do one and make it make sense.
It's
but
true.
I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
Clayface is a guy that comes out and like if the DCEU got their stuff together. Like he's like the guy that comes out in like movie number 9 after they lay
No. Here's the thing. I'm not saying make a Batman movie and have Clayface as a standalone villain, but have one of those movies where you have the main villain and then you have the B character villain, like kind of like they did with the Scarecrow. Scarecrow was prominent in I think 2 out of the 3 Batman movies.
Just in the first one.
No, he came out in the third.
He did come out, but he was not prominent.
No, but he wasn't the it character.
So you want a Spider-Man 3 scenario?
Yeah.
Well, kind of, because
this is Mr. Sandman.
Essentially Sandman is the Clayface.
Yes. However, Sandman is a better known villain than Clayface. Yeah.
Fuck
yeah. He is. I didn't mean to spark so much debate over the animated series by Bruce Timm. But some other stuff that are like must-watch cartoons are the Boondocks. If you guys have never seen that,
I read the comic strips, never saw.
They're good political satire. They're really good. If you aren't watching it, they're good for a laugh. If anything else,
they do a lot of commentary on society. So
they do.
They were on Cartoon Network.
They are. Yeah, they were on Cartoon Network.
Are they still on?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How long have they been on for now?
Ooh, man. I wish I had researched that a little bit more.
But
it's for some time now. It's great. It's great. There's another show that my wife introduced me to that I think is absolute must watch. If you haven't seen it, just take a couple minutes. It's a little out there. Admittedly so, but it's great. It's called Over the Garden Wall. and it's Elijah Wood, and he and his little brother get lost over this wall, and they're trying to find their way back home to this like random ass Halloween party. It's crazy.
Going back to the Boondocks, I hate to break it to you, but it is its final episode aired in 2014.
Okay, well, it looks like I'm 5 years late, everybody. 6 years. 6 years late. Well, hey. But it's a good show to watch. It means you can binge the whole thing. Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is one of my...
I never get into it,
I love
man.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, son of a bitch. I'm in. It's great, man.
I never got into it.
Rick and Morty is, again, it's another one of those cartoons that if it doesn't take itself very seriously. The writers themselves, I don't think even they know what they have on their hands. However, they're very careful about the way they peter out the information. But most of it is just nonsensical. Most of it is nonsensical. It's great.
Yeah, they have a couple episodes where they were improvised.
Yeah. Interdimensional cable, and they yeah, which is literally just a bunch of their like takes from the recording room that they made into an episode. There's a character called Ants in My Eyes Johnson. There's just ants in my eyes. It's just that's his whole his whole thing. That's his whole thing.
Didn't they do a Simpsons intro?
They did. I mean, those guys
crashes into the living room, kills the Simpsons, sends out the kid. What's the kid's name?
Morty.
To go make a copy.
Yeah, Morty. Those guys are total shills for they'll do whatever for money. Like and the thing, but here's the thing. All of their ads are totally like embracing the fact that they're shills. Like they did an ad for Nintendo Switches. They did an ad for Burger King about their Beyond Meat. Like they do not care. It's actually very funny to watch because they're like, yeah, Rick will be animated in the back counting his money for doing that ad.
That's funny. I told you recommended it. We tried watching it, couldn't get into it, which is sad because everybody that knows me goes, "This is right up your alley. This is something you would love."
Yeah, it's funny because you I won't say you yell at us, but you get on us about making fun of you so much on the show. However, outside of the show, you're basically Rick making fun of everybody else. That's you're a Rick. You're not the Rickest Rick, but you're a Rick.
I'm not the Rickest.
He's Pickle Rick.
I'm a Rick.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's Pickle
Tiny
Rick.
He's Tiny Rick. He's Tiny Rick. That's who you are.
And then Rick and Morty is the reason they brought back Szechuan sauce.
The Szechuan sauce. Yes, it was came on one episode at this place and in the season premiere of season 3 or 4, and it was a thing. It's a very fun show, man. I wish you could get into it.
It's fantastic.
It's great.
By the way, guys, I still have some Szechuan sauce that if you guys want to buy it for $300.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it.
It only ages like fine wine.
And then the last 2 shows I'll mention, or last 3 shows I'll mention, and I'll be quick about them, which is Adventure Time, which I really like taking shit on their animation, but the story of that show is good. Gravity Falls, which is another kid show about these kids that move in with their uncle who owns a mystery shack, but the town itself just has a bunch of weird shit going on.
Did you guys dress up as Gravity Falls for this Halloween?
We did. It's a great show.
I still didn't understand your costumes.
It's okay. There's a unicorn in that show, and the unicorns are kind of like assholes. And then the last show I'll talk about is Steven Universe. Now, Steven Universe is a show that admittedly I'm like on the sidelines of trying to catch up. My wife loves it, and what I've seen of it is good. It's a little confusing.
What is it about?
It's about a kid who is a reincarnated version of some gem.
Some what?
Of a gem. So
like a gemstone?
Yeah, like a gemstone, and in specific, a rose quartz.
Okay, so let me back up. Educate me here. How does a gemstone get reincarnated? It's not alive.
So in this show, there's a resistance group called the Crystal Gems. These crystal gems fight the diamonds. Again, it's way out there, but the core of the show has a lot of heart. It's a lot of heart and teach a lot of real lessons about depression and emotion and dealing with people who don't see your viewpoint. It's very complex and interesting. And Juan, I don't think you would like it, but Jay, you should absolutely give it a shot. It's if you haven't seen it.
I will try to find it. I'll check out a couple episodes.
Whatever happened to cartoons where you could just sit down, check out, and enjoy it. Now
that's what the regular show is. That's what the regular show is. You need to. It's literally two friends doing stupid shit. Like they have to clean up. Show? The regular show is about.
Is that a cartoon as well?
It is. It's about a blue jay named Mordecai and his best friend who's a raccoon named Rigby.
I think I've seen the animation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll jive with the animation. However, it's literally them doing the most mundane thing, and then it gets ramped up to like 11. So, example, their boss, who's a gumball machine, his name is Benson, tells them, "Hey, you got to clean up the park." They go, "Okay, cool." They find a keyboard. That keyboard transports things to the moon. So what do they do to clean up the park? They transport everything to the moon.
All the trash,
including themselves. Now they got to figure out a way to get back home from the moon.
Hey, Sean, have you watched Cowboy Bebop?
I have never seen Cowboy Bebop.
Is that an anime?
It is an anime, and I'm aware of it. I hear that I would like it, but I have never been able to like sit through it.
Dude, it's so good. I rewatch the series maybe every couple of years. And it's only like 26 episodes, and it's great. I think you'd like it. It's a sci-fi kind of western where there are bounty hunters in space, and their whole goal is to try to make enough money so that they can get food. But the storylines are really complex and deep, and the characters are really rich. If you can check it out, you should check it out.
Is it on Hulu? Or I feel like I've seen it on Hulu or Netflix or something. I feel like I've seen it on a service going. And I said, nah.
I'm sure it's somewhere, but I mean, Cowboy Bebop is like one of the definitive animes where people are like, oh, if you're an anime, you should watch Cowboy Bebop, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why I can't get into it. It's just like, and to be fair, and I've sat through a lot of Sailor Moon, to be fair, but but I just couldn't get into Cowboy Bebop.
Who's your favorite sailor scout?
I mean, whatever the red one is. I
Mars.
think that's Jupiter. Is that Mars? I don't know. She had like some like fire or something like that.
Your list. I'm rather surprised that it doesn't have any Dragon Ball Z in it, or Dragon Ball in general.
Well, because I recognize that not everyone's really ready to sit through 12 seconds of yelling. You know, it's and grandstanding. There's have you never seen Dragon Ball Z?
I have, but
yeah,
I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z is every episode in the original run is like sometimes 10 to 15 minutes of like just grandstanding, and then like 12 seconds of yelling kind of cut throughout to make a 30-minute episode with like very, very little plot development. Yeah, it is, you know, it follows all the rules of like shonen anime where like, you know, you get friendship boost, you get people dying boost, you get a last minute transformation, and like the 9th inning save from the titular character who has been training, you know. So it's like it is great. I love it, but I realize that like that's hard to sit through if you're not ready for that. Man, gentlemen, I think we did it. But we didn't piss Juan off. We didn't piss Juan off this episode, unless
you know the last 3 episodes. I haven't been extremely pissed off. I think I got pissed off last episode slightly. But
yes, you did. Yes.
But, yeah, maybe you had your period in that episode.
maybe that's when the scandal came.
Yeah. But you know what? Since we're done, let me just thank everybody for listening, guys. I don't have to be pissed off to thank you guys. Thank you for listening. If you can't get enough of us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at INCYCSHOW, and you can even email us some of your suggestions and or comments at INCYCShow@gmail.com, or you could be like some of our loyal listeners and just text us directly what you think. Lastly, we have merch. I'm not even going to say there's more on their way.
We have a merch. Merch.
I'm not even going to say there's more on their way because we've been saying that for a season and 3 episodes now. But eventually they will be. So get your very own "I'm Not Crying, You're Crying" shirt at the link in our show notes. And everybody, thanks for listening and have a good night. Gentlemen?
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Good night.